Good evening, ma'am. I think the YouTube link has been shared with the students. They should be able to join. Can we commence the session? Good evening, ma'am. I think the YouTube link has been shared with the students. They should be able to join. Okay, maybe she is not able to join. Ashwin, you may commence your session. Over to you,
Thank you,
Ashwin.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Friends, good evening, friends. I'm CAP Ashwin Kumar, Chartered Accountant, practicing in GST for the past 2.5 years. Um, I would like to, at the outset, I would like to thank ICGSTP for giving me this wonderful opportunity to address some young, vibrant minds present here. Uh, Trust me, friends, for the next 1.5 hours or 2 hours of session, whatever I'm going to take, I'll promise you that I will engage you in such a way that you understand the subject in a very lucid manner. So that is the idea behind this. Before getting into this topic, let me ask you a question. I need some participation from the participants end as well. How many of you have watched film Jailer? I think most of them would have watched, right? So in that presumption, let me ask you a question. What if the climax has been twisted in this way? Instead of Muthuvel Pandian, that is the Rajnikant, showing his spectacle, giving the sign of taking the Arjun Pandian to take the bullet. Um, Let us think of the opposite scenario where Arjun Pandian is giving some signs. He is prepared and he is well planned, and he wants to you know loot those let's say this valuables or the those antiques. The question is, now he comes up to you. Let us assume Arjun Pandian comes up to you and உங்கள்ட்ட வந்து கேக்குறாங்க, that is sir, I need to take a GST registration. I have some stocks with me. Now the stocks are basically these antiques which I want to sell it. Don't ask me, it is illegal. Don't go into that nuances. The question is, I've now a place பார்த்திருக்கேன். I want to store all those things here. The question is, he's coming and asking you and how to add this place in his GST number. Let's say he has taken the GST registration. The topic which I'm going to deal with is the continuation of the registration. That is how to carry out the amendment. And let us assume this scenario. He comes up and he asks, that is இந்த பிளேஸ் நான் ஆட் பண்ணணும் சார். ஏற்கனவே எனக்கு ஒரு பிளேஸ் இருக்கு. ஐ வாண்ட் டு ஆட் சம் மோர் பிளேஸ். இந்த குடவுன்ல நான் இந்த ஸ்டாக்ஸ்லாம் வைக்கலான்னு இருக்கேன். ஸோ வாட் வுட் பி யுவர் அட்வைஸ் அண்ட் ஹவு டு டீல் வித் திஸ்? தட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி தி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஏரியா ஆஃப் டிஸ்கஷன். Second area, now the department comes up with the fact that these are all the stolen antiques. They are proposing to cancel the registration of Arjun Pandian. So what would be the consequence? What if the department takes up an action? Whether department has the power, whether the revenue has the power. GST department power இருக்கா அவங்க ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை கேன்சல் பண்றதுக்கு? That is going to be the second aspect of discussion. Third aspect, now the Arjun Pandian, he realizes his mistake. He himself wants, I don't want all these humbug. I don't want this GST registration, nothing. I want to cancel my registration by myself. So he goes and voluntarily approaches the department. He surrenders and also in the process he also surrenders the GST registration. So idhukku enna pannalam? So this is going to be the topic we are going to discuss. Section 28 speaks about amendment, 29 speaks about cancellation, and 30, let us see, it is about revocation of cancellation. We'll start one by one. எப்படி இதை பண்ணலாம் அப்படிங்கிறத பார்ப்போம். First thing, I'm going to deal with amendment. I'll share the PPT. Wait a minute. Is the screen visible to everyone? Friends, is the screen visible to everyone? Am I audible? Friends, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Okay. Yes. Friends, we are going to deal with the continuation of the previous session, which is going to be how to carry out the amendments in the GST portal. ஒரு புதுசா ஒரு பிளேஸ் ஆரம்பிக்கணும்னா எப்படி ஒரு பிளேஸ் ஆட் பண்றது, எப்படி அந்த ஒரு பிளேஸ் it can be in form of a
Excuse me, sir. Sir, you're not audible, sir.
what about others? Do you face the same complaint? Sorry?
No, no, sir. You're not audible now.
Friends, now am I audible to you all?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Yes. See, amendment is nothing but, you're already you have a place. Now you're going to bring some change. You're going to basically, there is some change which has happened in your business. That change you are going to intimate to the department. அது என்ன பண்ண போறீங்க? இந்த மாதிரி சார் நான் ஏற்கனவே பிசினஸ் வந்து ஆவடியில ஒரு குடோன் வச்சு பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன் சார். இப்போ நான் என்ன பண்றேன், அதை அம்பத்தூர்ல இன்னொரு குடோன் எடுக்கிறேன் சார். எடுத்திருக்கேன்னா நீ என்ன பண்ண சொல்றான் ஜிஎஸ்டி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல, அந்த குடோனையும் உன்னோட ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டுக்கு இன்டிமேட் பண்ணு, உன்னோட பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ் இதுன்னு சொல்லி உன்னோட ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் சர்டிபிகேட்ல அதை ஆட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஸோ தீஸ் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் சேஞ்சஸ், திஸ் ஒன் சார்ட் ஆஃப் சேஞ்ச். What are all the changes that are to be intimated and how these changes are categorized அப்படிங்கறத நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். So basically nothing but amendment indicates a fact there is some change in business which has happened and that change has to be intimated.
The change could be in form of an addition or it can be in form of a deletion. Now, for example, Mr. X is engaged in, let's say, he's in trading of cements, and he hires a godown to store his cements there. Now, what the X has the duty, he has to intimate that he has taken this godown on rent. Now, the godown na rent ku eduthirken solli department ku intimate panna. That change he has to bring to the notice of the department, and it is duty to add this place has his one more place of business, which we call it as additional place of business. எந்த இடத்த ஜிஎஸ்டி ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் சர்டிபிகேட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் எடுக்கும்போது ஒரு இடம் இதுதான் என்னோட இங்கதான் நான் பிசினஸ் கேரி அவுட் பண்றேன்னு சொல்றானோ, தட் பிளேஸ் இஸ் ரெஃபர்ட் அஸ் பிரின்சிபல் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ். எந்தெந்த இடத்த சப்சீக்வெண்டா அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆட் பண்றானோ அதெல்லாம் என்னது, தே ஆர் ரெஃபர்ட் அஸ் அடிஷனல் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ். ஸோ பிரின்சிபல் பிளேஸ் அண்ட் அடிஷனல் பிளேஸ். பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ்னா என்ன சார்? எங்க நீ பிசினஸ் பண்றியோ அதெல்லாம் உன்னோட பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ். எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் புக்ஸ் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ் மெயின்டைன் பண்றியோ அதெல்லாம் உன்னோட பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ். பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ்ங்கிறது இட்ஸ் அ வைடர் டேர்ம். இன் சிம்பிள் டேர்ம்ஸ் சொன்னோம்னா, எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் நீ பிசினஸ் பண்றியோ, எங்கெல்லாம் நீ சப்ளை ரிசீவ் பண்ற, பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ண பொருளை ஒரு இடத்துல ஸ்டோர் பண்ற, அந்த இடம் எல்லாமே என்ன, உன்னோட பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ். ஸோ நவ் த கொஸ்டின் இஸ், what should I do? Amendment means what? Amendment means it is a change which has happened in your business. That change has to be intimated to the department. This is covered in section 28. Now the amendment enna pandranga, renda pirikranga, core field and non core field amendment nu pirikranga. Core field amendment na enna? Let us see what is meant by core field amendment. Moving to the next slide. Core field amendment அப்படின்னா இந்த ஃபீல்ட்ஸை ஒண்டி தான் கோர் ஃபீல்ட் அமெண்ட்மெண்ட்னு கேட்டகரைஸ் பண்ணும். லீகல் நேம். வாட் இஸ் மீன் பை லீகல் நேம்? சிம்பிள் டேர்ம்ஸ்ல சொல்லணும்னா, உன்னோட பேன் ரெக்கார்ட்ஸ்ல என்ன பேர் இருக்கும், தட் இஸ் ரெஃபர்ட் அஸ் வாட்? அஃபீஷியல் நேம் ஆஸ் ரெக்கார்டட் இன் த பேன். தட் இஸ் ப்ராக்டிகலி ரெஃபர்ட் அஸ் லீகல் நேம் ஃபார் த பர்பஸ் ஆஃப் ஜிஎஸ்டி. அண்ட் நெக்ஸ்ட் இஸ் வாட்? ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர்ஸ். ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர்ஸ்னா யாரு? ஒரு partnership firm, there is some changes in the partner details. That is, one new partner is added. One of the old partner is getting retired. One of the partner is suddenly, due to age related ailments, is deceased. So in the details, changes are intimate pananona. This field is categorized as what? A core field amendment. So what is core field amendment? This 5 fields. What is that? Legal name, change in the legal name without change of PAN ன்னு எழுதிருக்கேன். அப்படின்னா என்ன? Change in legal name without change of PAN. I'll give you an example. There is one client, his name is what? His name is let's say Sita Lakshmi. This Sita Lakshmi, what he feels, genuinely he feels, numerology padi SITHA எனக்கு ராசியா இருக்கு. So SEETHA நான் மாத்துறேன்னு assume. Let us assume for a moment. And he is also changing the PAN. The name correction is being incorporated in the PAN as well. Name correction is incorporated in the PAN as well. Now, even as per the GST law, what she should change this name as well. So there is no change in the PAN number. PAN number remains the same, but there is a change in what? The legal name alone. This is referred as what? Change in legal name without change of PAN. What is meant by change in legal name with change of PAN? That is, the constitution itself changes. I am a partnership firm. Na company மாத்தணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நான் partnership firm, நான் company மாறணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அப்ப my constitution itself is getting changed. Then it is referred as what? Change in legal name with change of PAN. So அப்படி இருக்கும்போது I can't go for amendment. I can only go for what? I have to cancel that existing GST number, take a fresh GST number. So change in legal name without change of PAN. This is the example I can give. And stakeholders, change in the directors details, change in the partners detail. So இதெல்லாம் வந்து comes under what? Core field amendment. அதே மாதிரி principal place of business, additional place of business. If I want to add the if my principal place is changed, I don't want to keep strategically my principal place na registration certificate la yeda nee declare pandriyo adhan principal place nu solrom. So I want to strategically change my principal place from what, from corporate office to some other branch office, let's say, where, or I'm going to, I've shifted my place, I've shifted my operations of corporate office from one place to another place. So now I want to change the principal place of business address because there is an address change which has happened. Adhayum na enna pannanum, intimate pannona. This kind of change is what is referred as core field amendment. This is referred as what? Core field amendment. Next, that's what additional place. Additional place now I gave you many examples. Let's say I want to keep my stocks in some godowns. Or it is not just godown, anything it could be, where I'm opening up a branch office, I'm opening up a marketing center, anything it could be, where I'm opening up a new place. In that place, I'm going to carry out a business, Aptina. Then what I should do, I should intimate that place to the department that na ingiyo sila business pandren, or in the edathilendo I'm carrying out some operations. You should intimate to the department. Those place other than principal place is referred as what? Additional place of business. So you have to add the additional place of business. This amendment is referred as what? Core field amendment. These amendments are referred as core field amendments. The நாலு தான் lawல இருக்கு. என்னென்ன இருக்கு? Change in legal name without change of PAN. Second, adhik example enna? There is no change in constitution of business except for some name change which has happened. There is no change in constitution. Partnership lende company marla. Then that becomes a core field amendment. Stakeholder details change. DIN number of the director I have to change. I have to change add one more director. I have to delete one director. So anything stakeholder related changes is referred as what? Core field amendment. Place of business related changes, both principal place as well as additional place. That comes under what? Core field amendment. Last is trade names. Practically, GST portal has classified the trade name related changes as core field only, but has not been present in the law explicitly. What is meant by trade name? What is meant by legal name? You know Gold Winner, right? Everyone would be knowing Gold Winner. Kalishwari. Kalishwari is the company which is into multiple business. It will have for every business vertical. ஒரு business-க்கு என்ன பண்ணலாம்? ஒரு trade name அது கொடுக்கலாம். Kalishwari Catering, Kalishwari Winner Oils. Example I'm saying. Like this, it can give what? One trade names for each business verticals. So that is referred as what? Trade names here. How many trade names can be added? First it was 9. Now I believe it is 99. And a proposal has been added to increase it to 999, I think so. So trade name is something which is related to your brand name. Trade name is something related to your what? Brand name. That is referred as trade name. So legal name, stakeholders related changes, principal place of business related changes, additional place of business related changes, trade name, which is also practically categorized as what? A core field amendment. So எதுக்கு core field non-core field ன்னு படிக்கிறோம்? Core field amendment எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் வருதோ, it requires proper officers approval. Wherever you are referring an amendment as core field amendment, proper officer approval என்ன? ஜூரி நான் போய் ஒரு அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் நான் சேஞ்ச் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னா அது எங்க போகும்? அது ஜூரிஸ்டிக்ஷன்ல போய் அந்த அசசி எந்த ஜூரிஸ்டிக்ஷன்ல வரானோ அந்த டாக்ஸ் பேயர் அந்த ஜூரிஸ்டிக்ஷன் ஆஃபீஸரோட அப்ரூவலுக்கு போகும். அவன் பார்த்து இந்த டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வெரிஃபை பண்ணிட்டு எல்லாம் கரெக்டா இருந்தாதான் என்ன பண்ணுவான்? He will approve. Else what he will do? We will see that. What he will do, we'll see that. So basically core field amendments gets the attention of the jurisdictional officer, and jurisdictional officer will take action. If he is satisfied, he will go for proceed for amending it. Else what he will do, we will see that what he will do. So the basically concept of core field amendment is this much, nothing more, friends. So to summarize, core field amendments are basically 5 things: legal name without change of PAN, stakeholder related changes, principal place of business, additional place of business, last one trade name, and this practically categorized as a core field. And this amendment requires what? Core field amendment in the jurisdiction or approval. He will take some time to process. He will verify, then he will process. Then what is meant by non-core field amendment? Non-core field amendment now, anything other than core field is non-core field amendments. So what are practically non-core fields? Amendment. Example I have given. Change in email ID. Change in email ID of the promoters. Change in the mobile number of the promoter. I want to change the authorized signatory. What is that authorized signatory? For GST related transactions, I'm giving an approval to some person, maybe an accountant, or maybe the owner himself. He can be what? An authorized signatory. Authorized representative is different. Authorized signatory is different. So I will add that person as what? Authorized signatory in my GST registration. I will details. Details what I will give. If the owner himself wants to be an authorized signatory, nothing. If he is a different person, accountant, probably he'll ask for the photo, he'll ask for the PAN number of that authorized signatory. So this details what I will give, and I will add him as what? Authorized signatory in the GST portal. So change in authorized signatory, email ID, mobile number, then there is something called HSN code. What is this HSN code? HSN code or SAC code is nothing but ஒரு குட்ஸ்க்கு ஒரு கிளாசிபிகேஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க. இப்போ ஒரு அக்ராஸ், இப்போ நீங்க எல்லாரும் டூருக்கு போறீங்க. டூருக்கு போகும்போது 200 பேர் இருக்காங்க. அப்ப 200 பேருக்கு பேர் சொல்லி கூப்பிட முடியாது. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? they'll give some numbers, right? நம்பர் 200 அப்படின்னா யாரோ ஒருத்தவங்க வரும். கரெக்ட். நம்பர் 50 அப்படின்னா யாரோ ஒருத்தவங்க வரும். அதே மாதிரி ஆல் ஓவர் இந்தியா இந்த குட்ஸை கண்டுபிடிக்கணும்னா they have given some common code called harmonized system of nomenclature code, which is given by what? WTO, World Trade Organization. And this HSN code is uniformly applied across the globe to identify when you say this number belongs to this goods. So where I'm going to top 5 HSN code I'll add panna solli portal la kek. I'm dealing with some new product, its business, it has picked up. I want to change the HSN, or genuinely I've given some wrong HSN. Now I want to correct it. Can I do that amendment? Yes, you can do it. In the non-core field amendment, non-core field amendment, OTP, verum authentication, nothing more required. Auto approval will be given. Auto approval will be sanctioned maybe in a day or maximum 1 to 3 days. It will take, where this amendment gets approved on automatic basis without the scrutiny of the proper officer. This is about what? Non-core field amendment. So amendment or objective and amendment. So we have covered 3 concepts. Amendment and change. Some change has happened and the change intimate part. That is referred as amendment. And the change can be an addition or it can be a deletion. Core field na 5 field தான் core field ன்னு சொல்றோம். என்ன 5 field? Stakeholder changes. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி change in the legal name without change in constitution of business. Principal place, நான் எங்க மெயினா பிசினஸ் பண்றேனோ அந்த இடத்தையே மாத்திரம் இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு போறேன். அப்ப I have to intimate. Then additional place also has to be intimated. I'm taking a godown to store the goods. I'm opening up a branch office. I'm opening up a marketing segment for which exclusive office is open to promote myself. So any place where you carry out your business, somewhere you open up a new office and you're going to carry out the business from there, what you'll have to do, you have to add it as your additional place of business. This is the change. Last change is trade name. Practically categorized as what? Trade name, and additional trade names are categorized as core field amendment. Core field amendment oda hallmark enna? Proper officer approval kuduthaada and amendment. Non-core field na anything other than core field. Example, email ID related, email ID, mobile number of the promoters, HSN code, SAC கோட்னு இருக்கு. எப்படி குட்ஸ்க்கு HSN கோட் இருக்கோ சர்வீசஸ்க்கு SAC சர்வீஸ் அக்கவுண்டிங் கோடுன்னு இருக்கு. அண்ட் சேஞ்ச் இன் தி ஆத்தரைஸ் சிக்னேட்டரி டீடைல்ஸ். இந்த சேஞ்சஸ்க்குலாம் என்ன வேணும்? நான் கோர் ஃபீல்ட் amendment will be. Now getting into the procedure for doing this amendment. Let us stick on to that original example what we gave. Now this Arjun Pandian, what he has done, he is going to start a business with antiques. And the antiques which pandra 15 days of what? He has taken up a godown where he is going to store all these places. And that villain has become his partner. Now they have started a partnership. They have taken a registration. Now they want to add this godown as what? As the additional place here. So they are making the application. And the application போடுறப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? They'll attach the rental agreement. Let us say it is a space taken on rent. அப்ப rental agreement attach பண்ணும். அதுல எப்படி இருக்கு rental agreementலனா B2, B3, second floor, Ashokan apartments இருக்கு. Sorry, Ashokan complex இருக்கு. Let us say Ashok Nagar, Ashokan complex, Ashok Nagar இப்படி இருக்கு. When I am giving the details in that portal, I have missed out B2. Or I have given B2, B3 in the portal, and the rental agreement la ivlo details capture ala. There is one deviation which is there. Or in Ashokan apartments na type பண்ணும்போது ASOKAN னு அடிச்சிட்டார். ஆனா rental agreement la ASHOKAN இருக்கு. So I have given the details in the portal. Portal la இந்த detail ASOKAN னு type பண்ணிட்டேன். Rental agreement la ASHOKAN னு இருக்கு. Now the officer is getting suspicious. அப்போ உண்மையாவே அசோகன் இன்னொரு இடம் எங்கேயாவது இருக்குமோ? ஏன் அவன் எப்படி டைப் பண்ணான்? எனக்கு I am not satisfied. So he verifies. I am adding a particular place. Boss, நான் ஒரு குடோன்ல இந்த ஆன்டிக்ஸ் சிலையெல்லாம் எடுத்து வைக்கிறேன். வைக்கும்போது அப்ப என்ன பண்றான்? ஆஃபீஸர் இஸ் நவ் கெட்டிங் சம் சஸ்பிஷன். வேற ஏதாவது ஸ்பேஸ் இருக்குமோ அது அப்படி? Now what the officer can do if he is not satisfied, he can proceed to issue a show cause notice. He can proceed to issue a what? A show cause notice asking, no, whatever evidence you have given in support of this place, it is not satisfying, it is not satisfactory for me. You give some other details. You give some other details for it, because there is some mismatch between the address what you have typed and what is there in the document. Sir, இந்த அளவுக்கு ஸ்பெல்லிங் மிஸ்டேக்லாம் பார்க்கறான். கண்ணில் விளக்கெண்ணெய் விட்டு பார்ப்போம். That is how the officer will verify things. And because many fake registrations are taken, so அதனால ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா பார்ப்பான். இந்த அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது கோர் ஃபீல்ட்லயோ சரி எதுலையும் what is there in the rental agreement, what you type, it should typically match. சார் இப்போ நான் மேட்ச் ஆனா என்ன சார் பண்ணும்? I can go for other proofs. For example, EB card with the latest EBB. That should give me correct name, correct billing, sorry, இந்த அட்ரஸோட நம்பரோட கரெக்டா இருக்கணும். நம்பர் B2 னா B2 இருக்கணும் அதுல. If something which is matches with whatever I've given, then it will be approved. இல்லனா practically they are not approving. They'll issue notices. We'll have to find a way to tackle that scenario. So the point here, what I want to drive, first thing, ஒரு சேஞ்ச் நடந்திருக்குன்னா, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு புது பிளேஸோ இல்ல ஏற்கனவே இருக்கிற பிளேஸ் ஏற்கனவே இட் இஸ் ஆடட் இன் யுவர் GST ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் பிளேஸ், அதை நீங்க ரெண்டுக்கு இனிமே எடுக்கல, அதை நீங்க அந்த பிளேஸ் அப்படியே கொடுத்துடுறீங்க. அப்போ யூ ஹேவ் டு டெலிட் தட் பிளேஸ் as well. Not only you need to add something which is not, you are not doing a business from there, it should not be there in your GST registration certificate. So அப்ப என்ன பண்ணணும்? அந்த பிளேஸையும் டெலிட் பண்ணணும். எந்த பிளேஸ்ல இப்ப புதுசா பிசினஸ் பண்ண போறீங்களோ அந்த பிளேஸையும் ஆட் பண்ணணும். So what you have to do within 15 days of such change, change நடந்து 15 நாளுக்குள்ள you will have to intimate by way of filing an application. Amendment application portal la file பண்ணும். REG 14 நினைக்கிறேன். You have to file an application called REG 14. இந்த application file பண்ணி முடிச்சிட்டீங்கன்னா next what will happen? Post that the officer will scrutinize. அதோட relevant documents வச்சு check பண்ணி பார்ப்போம். If he is satisfied, he will proceed to issue an amended GST registration certificate. Amended GST registration certificate தருவோம். He is not satisfied அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்ணுவான்? He will issue a notice asking for clarification, or your documentation is incomplete, or it is incorrect, or there is a mismatch. Please give me some other additional document to substantiate. So you on servicing that additional document, what the officer will do, again he will check that if this matches, what he will do, he will proceed to issue an amended GST registration certificate. இல்லைன்னா என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? He will reject the amendment application. He will reject that amendment application. Sir, reject பண்ணிட்டா அடுத்து என்ன சார்? ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டா திரும்பி ரீஅப்ளை பண்ணுவோம். சார் எவ்வளோ டைம் சார் ரீஅப்ளை பண்ணலாம்? எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச அந்த ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன் இல்லை. ஆனா நான் கேள்விப்பட்ட வரைக்கும் ப்ராக்டிக்கலா only officer can reject up to 3 times an amendment application. 4th time, I think portal itself is practically prohibiting him to reject, or 5 times, I think 3 or 5 times, not more than that, an officer can proceed to reject an amendment application. Anyways, he'll have to sanction. The point is, the story which I want to say, you have to keep trying if the officer is rejected. That is the only option. Okay, so this is all about amendment application. Section 28, what I want to cover, I've covered in full. That is amendment na enna, core field amendment na enna, non-core field amendment na enna, how this amendment process is carried out, 15 நாள் 15 days of such change, occurrence of such event, what you'll have to do, you have to go and intimate. அதை intimate பண்ணணும். intimate பண்ணா ப்ராப்பர் ஆஃபீஸர் என்ன பண்ணுவான்? அவன் அதை அப்ரூவ் பண்ணான். சரி, அவன் அப்ரூவ் பண்ணாத காரணம் என்ன? there is some inconsistency as found in that application, or some mismatch he has found, or some inadequate data is present. He is not satisfied. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணலாம்? The officer can issue a notice asking you to clarify that or produce some additional document. இது எவ்வளவு நாளுக்குள்ள பண்ணலாம்? within 15 days of such application you have made, officer என்ன பண்ணும்? அதை ஸ்க்ரூட்டினைஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு பொசிஷன் எடுக்கணும். சார் நான் 15 daysல பண்ணலன்னா என்ன ஆகும் சார்? 15 working days of the receipt of application பண்ணலன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் அப்ரூவல். 15 working days குள்ள பண்ணலன்னா என்ன ஆயிடும்? ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் அப்ரூவல் ஆயிடும். ஸோ விச் த ஆஃபீஸர் வில் நாட் அலோவ். அவனோட டாஸ்க் லிஸ்ட்ல இது எப்பவுமே இருக்கும். அது கரெக்டா காமிச்சிடும். ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் அப்ரூவல் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ரேர். ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ரேர். நடக்காதுன்னு சொல்ல, ரொம்ப ரேர். Within 15 working days of such receipt of application, he has to process, say either okay, give an amended registration application. அப்படி இல்லைன்னா என்ன பண்ணணும்? He'll issue a show cause notice. And the show cause notice க்கு நீ எவ்வளவு நாளுக்குள்ள ரிப்ளை பண்ணணும்? 7 working days of the receipt of that notice நீ ரிப்ளை பண்ணணும். 7 working days of the receipt of the notice நீ அதை ரிப்ளை பண்ணணும். சரி, நான் 7 working days குள்ள பண்ணல, அப்ப என்ன ஆகும்? Officer can proceed to reject your application. சரி சார், நான் ரிப்ளை பண்ணிட்டேன், but the reply is satisfactory. Officer will issue what? Amended GST registration. If he is not satisfied, he will reject the amendment application. This is what is going to happen with regard to section 28. Now let us move on to the next section, which is section 29. Section 29 எதை பத்தினா cancellation of registration. சார் அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு, எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சிருச்சு. I'll give you an example. So the government is not aware they are doing this. Arjun Pandian is doing some kind of smuggling activity. One day they are coming for physical verification. அந்த இடத்துக்கு வந்து பார்க்குறாங்க, அங்க குடவுனே இல்லை. அவன் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு குடவுனே அங்க இல்லை. Officer got shocked. அப்ப என்னடா பண்றாங்க, என்ன பண்றாங்க? He has told, not even disclosed, that he is doing an antique business. He's telling like, I'm dealing with medicaments. Seri, officer is now getting suspicious about this transaction. Now the officer, what he has is recording this fact that he is not doing the business from the place where he has got himself registered. Reason is simple, because he is doing some kind of an illegal activity. So, officer, what he can do? He can proceed to cancel the GST. He can proceed to cancel your GST. Friends, GST number evlo digits in the. How many digits?
15.
GSTIN has how many digits?
15 digits.
First 2 digits is
State code.
next 10 is
PAN number of the registered office.
fantastic. 13 digit is
Branch number, I guess. I don't know, sir.
branch number. Okay. 14 digit. It's called as what? 15 digit is called as?
Check this.
Okay. 15 digit is called as checksum digit. 13 digit is called as what? So 14 digit is called as what? Blank digit. It is called as what? Blank digit. Why it is called as blank digit? 14 digit. See, 13 digit indicates number of registrations you have taken in that one particular PAN. Yolo registration on the particular PAN. You can take voluntary registration within a state. Correct? One state la onak venuna or branch office ko registration. Unnur office ku unnur ellathukku settu or registration ni vechikalam. Illo or business vertical ko registration. It is up to you. Nowhere it is said in the law that you have to take a registration for a new business vertical. I'm doing this. I'm a tea vendor. I'm doing some sale of teas. Tea vikran. Like summer sale. Unnur pakka na biscuits open mandra. It is nowhere said in the law that I should take tea shop go registration, biscuit shop go registration. No solala. Engime solala. So if at all you want, you can take. It is up to you. It is optional. The concept of taking registration for each business vertical is done away. There is no as such the requirement. So where you are going to take a registration, assume. Now under a single PAN, under the same my PAN, I'm going to add one more GST registration to it. Then it will indicate what? My number of registration, that is 13 digit. Let us say my registration in Tamil Nadu has crossed more than single digit. How can I accommodate? In Tamil Nadu, I'm an ITC, Indian Tobacco Company. Let us assume. I have branches in Salem. I'm an HCL, Hindustan HUL, Hindustan Unilever Limited. I have deal with FMCG products. I have registration in Tamil Nadu, let's say more than 10 registrations. Each district I'm taking one registration. Let us assume it crosses single digit registration. ஒரே PANல எனக்கு 10 branch இருக்கு 10 branchக்கு 10 GST number எடுக்கிறேன். அப்ப அந்த 10ங்கிறது வரணும்னா எங்க வர முடியும்? You should hold one blank digit. So that is referred as what? Blank digit. So totally this is 15 digits of GSTN. First 2 digits is state code. 10th one is next 10 digits is your PAN. 13th one indicates your number of registration within that state under the same PAN. Then 14 digit is what? Blank digit. 15 digit is checksum digit. 15 digit is called as checksum digit. Now section 29 lena solra cancellation of GST department. One type of cancellation is what? The officer is getting suspicious about your transaction. நீ அங்க பிசினஸே பண்ணல, சும்மா பேருக்கு எடுத்து வச்சிருக்க to legalize your transaction, but you are not doing actual sale of medicament. You are doing what? A smuggling business. Or let us say you are doing legal business of what? Antiques, you are selling it legally, but in that you are smuggling some diamonds. In that you are smuggling some diamonds. Let us say like this. Now the question is, what are the circumstances under which the officer can cancel your registration on taking cognizance on his own? That is, அவனே இந்த சில சிச்சுவேஷன்ல அவனுக்கு ரைட் கொடுக்குறாங்க ஜிஎஸ்டி சட்டத்தில். அவனே இந்த மாதிரி சிச்சுவேஷன்ல பிசினஸ் அவனே கேன்சல் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை கேன்சல் பண்ணலாம் அப்படிங்கிறான். Other situation, I am not going to carry out business anymore. I want to voluntarily come and cancel the GST. So this is referred as what? Voluntary cancellation by registered person. Second one is referred as what? Suo motu cancellation by the officer. That is, suo motu means taking cognizance on his own. ஏதோ some தப்பு இருக்கு, நான் கேன்சல் பண்ணுறேன். எந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல எதை பண்ண முடியும் அப்படிங்கிறத பார்ப்போம். Yes. Whatever the situations we are going to discuss now, it is common to both. That is, officer நினைச்சாலும் அவன் கண்டுபிடிச்சாலும் கேன்சல் பண்ணலாம். இல்ல எனக்கு வேணாம்பான் நீயே போய் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை கேன்சல் பண்ண சொல்லி அப்ளிகேஷன் போட்டாலும் cancellation பண்ண முடியும். This is common to both what we are going to deal with. First situation, my business is discontinued. Due to COVID, my business has taken a huge hit. I was a great, let's say, an art director. I was the art director of film like Indian 2, you know, and 2020, what has happened? Suddenly, due to an accident at that place, shooting got halted, and followed by that, COVID has come. And what has happened? The art director is completely businessless. Business edume illa. Film shooting industry is closed for more than 1.5 years. And also for whatever the film sets he has designed, payments have not come. So he's in the verge of quitting the business. So where the business is discontinued, then in such scenario, what? He himself can make the application. Our officer, how he can make the application? The officer is continuously watching his returns. Return file பண்றத பார்க்கறான். பார்க்கும்போது எல்லாமே 0, nil rate, nil return file பண்றான். இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு வருஷம் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஒரு வருஷம் அப்புறம் ஆபீசர் அலர்ட் ஆகும். ஐயோ என்னடா இவன் எல்லா மாசம் 0 ஃபைல் பண்றான், எதுக்கு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் வச்சிருக்கணும், நான் ஏன் கேன்சல் பண்ணக்கூடாது? Because I assume that there is no business, which means it literally implies you have discontinued the business. So why can't I proceed for cancellation? சொல்லி எடுத்தோன்னே டக்குலாம் கேன்சல் பண்ண மாட்டான். He'll issue a notice to you, give a fair opportunity. உனக்கு ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கொடுப்பான். பாஸ் நான் ஏன் கேன்சல் பண்ணக்கூடாது உன் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன்? Where the business is discontinued is one such reason. Second reason, where the business is getting transferred fully. Discontinued is something I'm not going to do. Here, I'm not going to do, but someone is going to do that. நான் பண்ண போறல, வேற ஒருத்தன் பண்ண போறான் இந்த business. Where the business is transferred fully. This scenario covers what? Including the death of the sole proprietor, where the legal heirs will continue the business as a matter of succession. So as a matter of succession, what they will do? They will continue the business. In such scenario also what? Let us take that my grandfather is already deceased. So I'm taking this example conveniently. Is deceased, let's say, is into the business of what? Selling those homemade sweets and savories. And what he has done, he has transferred that business to me by succession. So what is happening here? Look at the point that PAN under which my grandfather is registered, அவரே இல்லனா எப்படி அவரோட PANல நான் business பண்ண முடியும்? Is he a person in the eyes of law? No, he's not at all a person. So what the law is saying was, you cancel that grandfather's GST number. As a legal heir, you take the GST number, a separate GST number. நீ எடுத்துக்கோ. நீ எடுத்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணு? இந்த பிசினஸை கண்டினியூ பண்ண என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? grandfather's சில assets and liabilities இருக்கு. அதெல்லாம் என்ன ஆகும் இந்த business growth. Let's say my grandfather is into a quarry business. So my I am this grandson. I want to continue the business. It is getting transferred to me. What is transferred? அந்த குவாரியில இருக்கக்கூடிய அசெட்ஸ் எல்லாம் எனக்கு வரும். அவர் எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் கடன் வாங்கியிருக்காரோ அதெல்லாம் எனக்கு வரும். In that process, even the input tax credit, whatever that he has, I hope you will have some idea about input tax credit. Anyways, if you don't have an idea, I'll give you a very simple meaning. நீ என்ன பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்றியோ அதுக்கு பே பண்ற டாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் இன்புட் டாக்ஸ். சிம்பிளா முடிக்கிறேன். On your purchase of goods or related be service, whatever tax you pay, that is referred as what? Input tax. Tax paid or payable on your inward supplies is referred as input tax. Tax paid or payable on your inward supplies is referred as input tax. So in the input tax credit, what is meant by credit? I give you a credit to you now. I give some advantage or a benefit to you. What is that advantage or a benefit? Whatever, let us say I buy a mobile phone for 10,000, I sell it for 15,000. Whatever the tax that is paid at the time of purchase is allowed to be offsetted, or it is allowed to be subtracted against my output tax. It is allowed to be offsetted or subtracted against my output tax. This is referred as what? Advantage or a benefit. This is referred as input tax credit or credit of input tax, or giving advantage of the tax paid in the previous stage is referred as what? Input tax credit. Input tax not tax paid on your purchase. Input tax credit not giving advantage. What advantage I give? Whatever tax that you pay on your outward supply, I allow it to subtract the tax paid on at the previous stage, or at the time of the prior stage, or the time of your inward purchases. So that is allowed to be subtracted. Friends, I hope you have some understanding about this input tax. So what this person will do, he'll also take the ITC of his grandpa into his GST number. There is one form which will do it through the portal. This is the another case where the business is transferred fully by way of succession. Other situations are similarly amalgamation or demerger. In case of amalgamation, the existing entity is dissolved, a new entity emerges in full. Correct? Existing entity போயிடும். X limited இருக்கு, Y limited இருக்கு. Y limited absorbs the entire X limited. Now, X limited is dissolved and Y limited will have its business as well as the X limited business in it. In case of what? Amalgamation, or another, because amalgamation includes even absorption that is there in the Companies Act. Let us leave that aside. Leave that aside. Another for X limited. Amalgamation. X limited is there. Y limited is there. Both the entities are going to merge. They are going to start a new entity called what? XY limited. They are going to start a new entity called XY limited. Here both the entities are what? Gali. New entity is coming, which is XY limited. The beauty of amalgamation is what? The existing company dissolves, a new company comes into existence. X limited, Y limited example, X limited dissolves and Y limited takes over the entire X limited, and that now the Y limited is not a new company. I would say at least the existing company, one existing company is there, and one existing company at least dissolves in case of amalgamation. Or company போயிடும் amalgamation னு சொல்லும்போது. When you say acquisition, when you say what? Acquisition, you purchase the shares of the other company. That is referred as what? Acquisition. Here both the companies will be in existence. Here both the companies, X limited buys 51% shares of Y limited. Here X limited is also in existence, Y limited is also in existence. X limited has invested in shares of the Y limited. It is referred as what? Acquisition. When you say amalgamation, the selling company, what it will happen? It will dissolve. It will not be there. That is the beauty of what? That is the distinction between amalgamation and acquisition. Next one is what? Demerger. See, demerger happens. A demerger na splitting up or hiving off, or kaiya taniya edukkiradhu. That is what? This is also referred as what? Demerger or splitting the units. Demerger happens for what? for not always for bad reasons. It is always for good reasons. Mostly demerger happens for good reasons. Good reasons na one company, one division, cement division. Let us say Larsen and Toubro. Larsen and Toubro software division, IT division. Larsen and Toubro also ventured into what? Cement division in 1992. So this is a classic case where both the divisions are there. They were operating as one single company. Now they decided one fine day to what? To take away this cement division and operate separately. This is a classic case of what? Demerger, where splitting up or hiving off of the unit happens. And that unit is recognized as a separate company by itself. And the unit to go repair L&T Cement. L&T Cements no or company ஆரம்பிக்கிறது. இங்க L&T Infra னு ஒரு company ஆரம்பிக்கிறது. L&T IT னு ஒரு company வச்சிருக்கு. So there are two companies which are formed here. The entity which is demerged is referred as what? Demerged entity which has been which is hiving off that unit is referred as what? Demerged entity. And the new entity which is coming is referred as what? It is referred as the new entity only. So there are two entities which are coming. One is what? The demerged entity. Other one is the new entity which is formed, which is given a separate legal status. And the company ku tani status irukku. Cement division taniya pirichadukku appuram what is happening? A new company is formed for cement or infra, and IT is continued in the existing company itself. So this scenario is referred as what? Demerger. In the mari scenarios what will happen? In the mari scenarios one can either go for cancellation by himself. By himself he can go for cancellation. Our officer can take cognizance of it and he can cancel. Any option or both the options are available for this scenario. And second scenario is what? Where there is a change in constitution of business. Change in constitution. So basically the scenarios are what? I'm going to close my business. One thing. Second thing is what? I'm going to transfer my business in full. Third thing is what? The transfer can take the form including what? Death of the proprietor, or it could be what? Maybe due to amalgamation or maybe due to demerger. There is a transfer of business which is happening. Or I'm selling that entity in full. I'm disposing of or selling the entity in full. What we call it as slum sale. We sell the entity in full. Why this slum sale will happen? Slum sale na எந்த அசெட்டுக்கும் நான் வேல்யூ எல்லாம் அரைவ் பண்ண மாட்டேன். This L&T is a classic case. L&T, what has happened? It opened up a cement division. 1999 it has to sell that cement division. It searched for more than 5 years for a buyer to buy a cement division because the market was highly competitive. It cannot match the price at which India Cements were giving it. So L&T has to obviously find a person who wants to buy their cement division, where I'm disposing of the asset. I'm desperate to give that asset to someone. I don't even want to hold it. That is referred as what? Disposal. In that disposal, what will happen? I'll not assign values for that asset. So I will sell the business as a whole for some X rupee, for some Y rupee, without any logic. Sherry, at least I need to meet out my loss. My loss is 400 crores. You give me 300 crores, I'll sell this business. 100 crores I'll bear out of my pocket. Without assigning individual values to the asset, what I will do? I'll sell off as the entire unit or an entire undertaking. That is referred as disposed of. So the point is, where the business is discontinued or transferred in full, such transfer may be due to death of the sole proprietor, where legal hair is continuing, or it may be due to amalgamation, or it may be due to demerger, or my entity is disposed of. And next scenarios where there is a change in constitution of business. I'm converting from partnership firm to company, or company to partnership firm, individual to partnership firm. Where there is a change in constitution. This is referred as what? Change in constitution. If that is happening, then I will have to go for cancellation. Take a fresh registration for the new constitution, not to continue with the existing GST number, not to continue with this. Where I'm going to start a partnership firm with my friend. Earlier, I was an individual. I cannot continue this GST number. I have to cancel, take a fresh GST number for that partnership firm, because partnership firm will have a separate PAN. அதுக்கு ஒரு PAN இருக்கும். அந்த PANல தான் நான் registration எடுத்து I have to register myself, and this individual registration I need to cancel. So this is the second scenario. Third scenario is what? I am not at all liable. See, அப்ப எதுக்கு சார் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்து? எனக்கு ஒருத்தன் என்ன சொல்றான், நீ மேன் பவர் சப்ளை பண்ணு, பெரிய கம்பெனி நானு, நீ ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர் இருந்தாதான் எனக்குள்ள நீ கோட் பண்ண முடியும். நீ உள்ள கோட் பண்ணிட்டேன்னா உனக்கு நான் ஆர்டர் கொடுத்துடுறேன், ஆனா எனக்கு நீ ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பரோட தான் வரணும். அப்ப அவன்கிட்ட ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர் இல்ல. So he's desperate to take GST registration. He's not liable to take registration. His turnover is only 8 lakhs. His turnover is only 7 lakhs. May I know what is the threshold limit that is applicable for taking GST registration, friends? Anyone? GST registration எடுக்கணும்னா அதோட applicable exemption limit எது வரைக்கும், எந்த அமௌண்ட்டை தாண்டினா GST registration எடுக்கணும்? No one? Friends?
For goods 40 lakhs, services 20 lakhs.
Okay. When it will become 10 lakhs?
Some specified states.
Some specified states will become 10 lakhs. 1 minute. Do you have any idea about that specified state?
Mizoram, Tripura, Manipur, Nagaland. Is it correct, sir? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Yes, you are right. Mizoram, Manipur, then Nagaland, Tripura, right?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. For these states, when it will become 10 lakhs, say, let me ask you a question. I am doing a sales turnover in supplies in Maharashtra. I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a supply of mobile phones for 34 lakhs. In Nagaland, I'm doing sale of alcoholic liquor for 10 lakhs. Now you tell me what is the threshold that is applicable? What is my aggregate turnover now? Anyone? What is my aggregate turnover? You can try. This is, friends, you can consider this as your a place where you can, this chat room as the place where you can think, speak anything. You have absolute freedom to do that. Yes. No one is going to, பின்னாடி போய் பேசினா பேசிட்டு போறாங்க. But the thing is, you have to come up. If anyone? Okay. The aggregate turnover here is 44 lakhs, 34 plus 10, 44. And next point is what? Where he has to take registration. The question is, threshold is 10 lakhs or? Yes. Yes. Threshold is 44 lakhs. Sorry, the turnover is 44 lakhs. The threshold that has to be compared is not 10 lakhs. Even though I do a sales in Nagaland, because I do non-taxable supplies from there, I am not doing a taxable supply from there. Only if I do taxable supply, my threshold gets reduced to 10 lakhs. Only if I do taxable supplies from these 4 states, my threshold will get reduced to 10 lakhs. The easiest way to remember the 4 states, you can remember like this. Tamil Nadu, Manaparai Murukku, TNMM. T stands for Tripura, N stands for Nagaland, M stands for Manaparai, and that is the mega Mizoram. Another M stands for Manipur. For these 4 states, the threshold limit is 10 lakhs. Okay, just this point has some relevance, so I just want to touch upon that. Where a taxpayer is no longer liable to get himself registered under 22 or 24. And also what is not no more is willing to hold voluntary registration. The project எடுத்தேன் இந்த manpower supply project அது ஒரு வருஷம் ஆனோன்னா எனக்கு contract close பண்ணிட்டா எனக்கு GST number இனிமே தேவையில்லை. Why should I pay GST? Why should I take all these headaches? So in that scenario, what either you can apply for cancellation, or the department, if they are taking cognizance of this fact, they can also go for cancelling your registration. So the scenarios what we have discussed is both the scenarios, that is both the person, that is the voluntarily taxpayer can opt for cancellation, make an application for cancellation. Department can also, if they come to know, they can also go for suo motu cancellation. So the point to summarize, the business where it is discontinued, or my business is fully transferred on account of amalgamation, demerger, or there is a death of the sole proprietor. Next point is what? My business constitution is fully changed from individual to company, or individual to partner. I'm changing. On next point is what? I'm no longer liable to get myself registered. I've taken voluntary registration. Now I don't want this GST headache. My contract is also cancelled. I'm no longer liable to pay GST. Then proceed for filing cancellation application. So these are the grounds on which one can go for cancellation. Next, these are the in the slide la enna paaka porom, endha situation la officer cancel pannalam. Officer kundi da adhikaram irukku. Taxpayer obviously inga panna poradla, officer can only proceed for cancellation. What are these scenarios? See, na vandu registration எடுத்துட்டு நான் பிசினஸே பண்ணாம 6 மாசம் ஓடிட்டு இருக்கேன். அப்ப ஆபீசருக்கு சந்தேகம் வருமா இல்ல, எதுக்கு அவன் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்தான்? He has not commenced the business within 6 months from the date of registration. He is filing continuously nil returns for a year. Appo officer has all the right or a power to doubt the genuineness of this registration. Then for what purpose he should have taken? He need not have taken. So in that scenario, what he can do, he can proceed for suo motu cancellation. He can proceed for what? Suo motu cancellation. Second scenario, GST சட்டப்படி நான் வந்து கண்டினியூஸ் பீரியடா தொடர்ந்து 6 மாசத்துக்கு ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்ணலாம். தொடர்ந்து 6 மாசத்துக்கு ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்ணலன்னா அப்ப என்ன பண்றேங்கிறான், ஒரு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை ஆபீசர் பவர் கொடுக்குறான், கேன்சல் பண்றான். எப்படி நீ ஜிஎஸ்டி ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்து 6 மாசத்துக்கு ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்ணாம இருப்ப? சரி, 6 மாசங்கிறது முன்னாடி எக்ஸ்பிளிசிட்டா இருந்தது, இப்போ ஒரு சட்டத்துல ஒரு அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் இருக்கு. Leaving it aside, practically let us speak. A registered person has not filed the returns for continuous period of 6 months. Practically, the department is taking a stand that I will proceed to. ஏன் நான் ஃபைல் பண்ணல ரிட்டர்ன்? கையில காசு இல்லை, பெரிய லாஸ். என் ஃபேக்டரியில ஒரு ஃபயர் ஆக்சிடென்ட், இன்சூரன்ஸ் பணம் ஒன்றும் வரல, அதனால என்னால ரிட்டர்ன் மீதி 4-5 மாசத்துக்கு சேலே இல்லை, அதனால நான் காமிக்கல. இந்த தலைவலியில ஜிஎஸ்டி ரிட்டர்ன்லாம் ஃபைல் பண்ணல. So where I have not filed the returns for continuous period of 6 months, officer has a power to cancel the registration on his own. Sir, இப்ப கேன்சல் பண்ணா அதோட இம்பாக்ட் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பாரு. என் பிசினஸே பண்ண முடியாது. என் பிசினஸ் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னா என் வாழ்வாதாரம் என் பிசினஸ் நம்பி இருந்தா it also gets affected. Not only that, if my registration is cancelled, I can't even move the goods. For movement of goods, I have to generate certain forms, which I can't do it. First of all, I should not move the goods. So cancellation of registration, to some extent or in some cases, it even impacts the liberty to live or even it impacts what? The sustenance of a businessman, provided that becomes what? That is his bread and butter. Where the business becomes his bread and butter, cancellation of registration can have a serious impact. Second point, first point on the voluntary registration. நான் business 6 மாசமா comments பண்ணல. அப்ப எதுக்கு நீ registration எடுத்து வச்சிருக்க? நான் return register பண்ணிட்டேன். ஆனா 6 மாசமா return file பண்ணல. Unless I hold a valid reason, even if I hold a valid reason, இந்த மாதிரி இப்ப நான் சொன்ன எக்ஸாம்பிளே வேலிட் ரீசன் தான். ஃபயர் ஆக்சிடென்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு, பைசா வரல, டாக்ஸ் கலெக்ட் பண்ணல, இன்வாய்ஸ் பண்ணதோட சரி, அப்ப நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? Nothing can be done, right? I can't pay the tax. When I can't pay the tax, I can't file the return, because payment of tax and filing of return happens at the same time in the GST code. Without payment of tax, you cannot file the return. They are inextricably linked. So this will have a serious problem. Sir, how to address this? Nothing can be done. File the return, pay the tax. Then we'll think of, giving a revocation for the cancellation. File the return, we can think of doing something, removing that cancellation effect. We will try to do something. But you'll have to file the return. Pay the tax essentially. Third point, where I obtained registration by fraudulent means. I obtained registration by what? Fraudulent means, which the department is taking cognizance of. Adu eppadi sir mudiyum? It is possible in various scenarios. I made a registration application. Officer had queue of registration application, bunch of registration applications pending. He has missed out to verify the details at that time. Registration got auto approved, or he is approving the registration in an haphazard way because he is not having the time to scrutinize all the applications. Later on, he decides, let us go and check these places. So he goes for a verification. On going, he finds that he's telling, I'm a manufacturer of blue metals. But when I go and see, it is just a small residential space where it is only 300 or 500 square feet. That place is only added as a place of business. Can I manufacture blue metal in that space and sell it? No, officer is, getting suspicious about this transaction. Now he alleges that this registration has been obtained by fraudulent or willful misstatement or suppression of it. In registration portal kulla poi pathina, application podum bode I hereby state that the information given above is correct to my best of my knowledge and belief. Line எழுதி கொடுப்போம். Whether based on this line, which is there in the portal, I have to tick the checkbox. And the checkbox I tick pantana. The question is, can the officer treat whatever the information I have not disclosed or wrongly disclosed, whether it will become a willful misstatement or suppression? This has to be analyzed. Officer has the power. He has the power to do anything. So where he has doubt or he is doubting the genuineness of the registration, or when I go and see, there is no such person, there is no such business, nothing there. It is an empty space. So in these scenarios, what he can do, he can proceed for cancellation of GST number. He can proceed for cancellation of GST number. What are the three scenarios? He has not filed the returns. Voluntarily registered person has not commenced the business within 6 months from the date of registration. 6 மாசம் ஆகி business commence பண்ணல. 6 மாசமா return file பண்ணல. தொடர்ந்து registration வாங்கினதே by fraudulent means. Go for cancellation. The fourth scenario is little dangerous, where the registered person has contravened the provisions of the act. All provision is all the provisions. It will become the contravention. No, sir, I am not tax invoice number போடல. Tax invoice number தப்பா போட்டேன். Law requires you to put a tax invoice number in the tax invoice. Invoice tax invoice number போட சொல்லுது சட்டம். நான் போடல. Assume. Can the department say you have contravened the provisions? But I am paying GST. I am filing returns, paying GST, everything, but tax invoice number I am not following the formula, or I am not putting tax invoice number. Edo விட்டுறேன். The question is, can the department say the registered person has contravened the prescribed provision? No, not. It is not contravening the provisions, it is contravening the prescribed provisions. Only specific contraventions are covered in this point. Only specific contraventions are covered in this point. What are those contraventions? I am not doing the business from the declared place. அது தெரிஞ்சிருது. Or I am issuing invoice to transfer the input tax to some other person without supplying the underlying goods. Goods அனுப்பாம வெறும் இன்வாய்ஸ் போட்டு இந்தாப்பா ஒருத்தன் வந்து சொல்றான் எனக்கு டாக்ஸ் கட்டுறதுக்கு காசு இல்ல, நீ ஒரு அகாமடேஷன் பில் போட்டு கொடு. அகாமடேஷன் பில்னா என்ன? மூவ்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் இருக்காது அந்த பில்லுல, வெறும் இன்வாய்ஸ் ஒண்டி அவனுக்கு டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆகும். லெட் அஸ் சே 1000 ரூபாய்க்கு இன்வாய்ஸ் போட்டுக்கிறேன், ஜிஎஸ்டி 100 ரூபான்னு வச்சுக்கோ. You'll use that 100 rupees, the recipient will pay against his output tax. This guy will officially get in his bank account 1100 rupees, but he will pay in cash to that recipient 950 rupees after taking 1050 rupees after taking 50 rupees as commission. Or 50 ரூபாய் commission எடுத்து 1050 ரூபாய் கொடுத்துரும் cash. Thereby fake invoice is created. Without supply of goods, ITC is enjoying, the recipient, and I am also enjoying a commission out of this transaction. So this is a serious contravention which has been proved by the department. Bank account details 30 நாளுக்குள்ள ஆட் பண்ணு. முன்னாடி 45, இப்போ 30 நாளுக்குள்ள ஆட் பண்ணாதான் என்ன பண்ணும்? Or before the GSTR1 filing date, whichever is earlier. So practically 30 days or the GSTR1 filing date, whichever is earlier, you need to add the bank account details. So in the mari scenarios la enna solra, na registration sumoto basis officer cancel பண்றதுக்கு எல்லா அதிகாரமும் இருக்கு. So cancellation on sumoto basis என்னென்ன part of it? First thing, voluntary registration எடுத்து 6 மாசம் நான் business commence பண்ணலனா cancel பண்ணலாம். 6 மாசம் தொடர்ந்து ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்ணலனா கேன்சல் பண்ணலாம். நான் இந்த மாதிரி பிசினஸ் contravene the specified provisions, not all the provisions. I'm not doing business from the place where I've got myself declared, or I'm issuing invoice without the underlying supply. I failed to add the bank account. இந்த மாதிரி scenarios like you can, where the registration department comes to know or is having a strong belief that it is by way of obtained by way of willful misrepresentation or suppression, appayum registration cancel பண்ணு. These are the voluntary illama compulsory or sumoto basis. The officer only has the power. On these grounds he can permit for cancellation of GST number. Now let us move on to the next point. சரி, கேன்சல் பண்ணோம்னா எடுத்தோம் கவுத்தோன்னு பண்ண மாட்டான். எடுத்த கவுத்தோன்னு பண்ண மாட்டான். அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவான்? வாட் he will do? The officer will first இனிஷியலா உங்க ஜிஎஸ்டி அக்கௌண்ட்டை ஃப்ரீஸ் பண்ணுவோம். அந்த ஆக்ட் ஆஃப் ஃப்ரீசிங் இஸ் கால்ட் வாட்? சஸ்பென்ஷன். அது என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? நீங்க எந்த டிரான்சாக்ஷனும் பண்ணக்கூடாது அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக உங்க அக்கௌண்ட்டை முடக்கி வைக்கிறது, which is referred as suspension. Your account will get suspended. சஸ்பென்ஷன் எதுக்காக பண்றான்? இனிமே நீ ரிட்டர்ன் எதுவும் ஃபைல் பண்ணக்கூடாது. You're free from your routine compliances, including filing returns. So that is the purpose of doing suspension. Now, by doing suspension, who will do? Proper officer will do. What is the implication of doing suspension? By doing suspension, what will happen? Two things will happen. First, அந்த intermittent periodல, அதாவது ஒரு cancellation கிடைக்கலாம் இல்ல கிடைக்காம போலாம். Let us say கிடைக்குதுன்னு வச்சுப்போம். இன்னைக்கு சஸ்பெண்ட் பண்றான், ஒரு 20 நாள்ல திரும்பி கேன்சலேஷனை ரெவோக் பண்ணி விட்டுறான். கேன்சல் பண்ணல உங்க ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் கேன்சலேஷன் ப்ரொசீடிங்ஸை ட்ராப் பண்ணிடும். இதெல்லாம் நீங்க கரெக்டான டாக்குமெண்ட் கொடுத்துட்ற. ஆனா அந்த 20 நாள் உன் அக்கௌண்ட்டை ஃப்ரீஸ் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கால, அந்த 20 நாள் என்ன சேல் பண்ணியோ அந்த சேலுக்கு டாக்ஸ் இன்வாய்ஸ் நீ ஒண்ணு போடக்கூடாது. டாக்ஸ் எதுவும் கலெக்ட் பண்ணக்கூடாது. டாக்ஸ் எதுவும் கலெக்ட் பண்ணக்கூடாது. I'll give you an example. I don't want to name the restaurant. One of the restaurant, it charged 5% GST on the bill. When I go and verified the GST number, sir, இது எப்படி சார் பண்றது? There is an option in the portal. There is an option in the portal called search taxpayer னு ஒரு option இருக்கு. நான் என்ன பண்றேன், I'll show that option to you. 1 minute. Is my screen visible to all friends? நான் navigate பண்றது தெரியுதா?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. gst.gov.in search taxpayer னு ஒரு option. இந்த ஆப்ஷன்ல search by GST and போயிட்டு அந்த GST நம்பரை இங்க நீங்க டைப் பண்ணணும். நீங்க உங்க கையில அந்த ஹோட்டல் பில் இருக்கும், அதோட GST நம்பர். எக்ஸாம்பிள், I will put one GST number. Wait for a moment. I'll put any GST number. I'll type like or any hotel. If you want, you can try and check here. Let me try and show you. Captcha code போடுங்க. See, look at the registration. His trade name, this is referred as trade name. Trade name is Geetham. Individual name பாருங்க, legal name பாருங்க, Seduraman, Allayya Seduraman. See, his registration is cancelled. Suo moto from 1/1/18. He was registered under composition. You will have to be very aware. You have to be very careful. Here, see, his registration is cancelled. Officer has cancelled his GSTN. In the GSTN la Geetham restaurant bill பண்ணக்கூடாது. Just giving, this is something I have taken out of, whatever it is available online. They might have a different GST number. This is not the data. I'm putting a clear disclaimer. I'm not vouching for this credentials here. Whatever that has come in online, I've tried to show you to impart knowledge. That's all. It is available in public domain. So the point is, you have to check the GST engram. The point which I want to drive home is very simple. You go and check the GST number if you have a doubt. The registration is cancelled. They should not charge tax invoice. They should not collect money from you. In many restaurants, I could see this default that is happening. So please be aware. If at all you have a doubt, you go to gst.gov.in, put that GST number there and check the cancel. If the status is cancelled, you have all the right to go and question the restaurant there that your GSTN is cancelled, but you are still collecting the taxes. Fine. Now getting into the next point. Yes. So in this period, that intermittent period, that is suspension, an act which happens before cancellation. An act which happens before cancellation, that is referred as suspension. And the suspension period, he should not tax invoice edum podakudadu, tax edum collect pannakudadu. This is the fundamental principle, and he is not supposed to file any return. He will not file any return. He is not allowed to file the return in the portal itself. Portal creates the lock. So இது ரெண்டும் அவனால பண்ண முடியாது இந்த சஸ்பென்ஷன் பீரியட். சஸ்பென்ஷன்ல இருந்து 2 ரிசல்ட் வரலாம். ஒன்னு கேன்சல் ஆகலாம், இன்னொன்னு திரும்பி ஒரு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் நீ வந்து திரும்ப பெறலாம். நாட் திரும்ப பெறலாம், they will drop the cancellation proceedings, you will retain that registration. நீ அப்படியே அதை வச்சுப்ப. Where the registration is cancelled, what will be the next area to discuss? Where the registration is cancelled, nothing, you will have to file something called final return. ஒரு ரிட்டர்ன் ஒன்று ஃபைல் பண்ணணும். ஏதாவது அடிஷனல் லைபிலிட்டிஸ் இருந்தால் அதை கட்டிட்டு ஒரு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனை க்ளோஸ் பண்ணணும். நான் அந்த மாதிரி நான் வந்து என் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் திரும்பி கிடைச்சிருச்சு. கிடைக்கும் போது இப்ப சஸ்பென்ஷன் இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா, இந்த சஸ்பென்ஷன் எனி டேட்ல இருந்து ரிமூவ் ஆகும். அடுத்த கொஸ்டின், என்னைக்கு அந்த சஸ்பென்ஷன் போட்டானோ அந்த டேட்ல இருந்து ஆகுமா, இல்ல அந்த சஸ்பென்ஷனோட ரிமூவல் எஃபெக்ட் எப்படி இருக்கும்? இந்த சஸ்பென்ஷனோட ரிமூவல் எஃபெக்ட் எனி டேட்டுக்கு அந்த சஸ்பென்ஷன் வந்ததோ அந்த டேட்ல இருந்தே அது ரிமூவ் ஆயிடும். அந்த டேட்ல இருந்தே அது ரிமூவ் ஆயிடும். திஸ் பாயிண்ட் யூ நீட் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் ஆர் அப்ரிஷியேட். நெக்ஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட், சார் நான் சஸ்பெண்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு சார் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன். இப்ப நெக்ஸ்ட் நான் என்ன பண்ணணும்? எதுக்காக சஸ்பெண்ட் ஆயிருக்குன்னு பாரு, அனலைஸ் பண்ண ரீசன். சார் என்னோட ரிட்டர்ன் நான் ஃபைல் பண்ணல, அதனால தான் சஸ்பெண்ட் ஆயிருக்கு. சரி, எல்லா ரிட்டர்னையும் ஃபைல் பண்ணு, டாக்ஸ் கட்டு, இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டை கட்டு, பெனால்ட்டி இருந்தா பெனால்ட்டியும் கட்டு, போட்டிருந்தா டாக்ஸ், இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட், லேட் ஃபீ, பெனால்ட்டி கட்டு. கட்டிட்டேன்னா வாட் வில் ஹேப்பன் நெக்ஸ்ட்? ப்ராக்டிகலா பெனால்ட்டி வராது, டாக்ஸ், இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட், லேட் ஃபீ கட்டிட்டேன்னா நெக்ஸ்ட் வாட் யூ வில் கோ ஃபார்? there is one option in the portal called drop proceedings. You will click that button, you will ask for, pray for dropping the cancellation proceedings. That proceedings will get dropped after verifying all whether you have done the proper return complaints, proper taxes la kattitiyan paatadukku appuram the officer will drop the proceedings. Clear friends? This is all about this suspension. Now let us move on to the next topic. But cancellation, we have covered amendment. Cancellation ரெண்டு விதமா வரும்னு சொன்னேன். ஒன்னு வாலண்டரி சொன்னேன், இன்னொன்னு சுமோட்டோ சொன்னேன். வாலண்டரினா வாலண்டரியும் சுமோட்டோவும் காமன் கிரவுண்ட்ஸ் என்னென்ன ரீசன் பார்த்தோம். பிசினஸ் டிஸ்கண்டினியூ ஆச்சுன்னா, பிசினஸ் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆச்சுன்னா, பிசினஸ் டிஸ்போஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா, சேஞ்ச் இன் கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் நடந்தாலும், அதுக்கப்புறம் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஐ எம் நோ லாங்கர் லைபிள் ஃபார் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன், நாட் லைபிள் டு பே எனி டாக்ஸ், நாட் லைபிள் டு ஹோல்ட் ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர், வாஸ் யூ கோ ஃபார் கேன்சலேஷன். சுமோட்டோ கேன்சலேஷன் ரொம்ப ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கான ரீசன்ஸ். கண்டினியூஸா ரிட்டர்ன் 6 மாசம் ஃபைல் பண்ணலன்னா, இல்ல நான் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் எடுத்துட்டேன் 6 மாசமா எந்த பிசினஸும் தொடங்கலைன்னா, வாலண்டரியா எடுத்திருக்கேன் பிசினஸ் தொடங்கல, இந்த ரீசன்ஸ். ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனே பொய் சொல்லி ஏமாத்தி நான் அப்டைன் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். By fraudulent means, by willful misstatement is there. I've contravened some of the specific provisions. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது officer can proceed for cancellation by himself. இந்த cancellation பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கொடுப்பான், ஒரு நோட்டீஸ் கொடுப்பான், உன்னை டிஃபெண்ட் பண்றது, உனக்கு ஒரு வாய்ப்பு கொடுப்பான். ஆனா சஸ்பென்ஷன் வந்து எப்படி ஆகும்னா, உனக்கு அந்த நோட்டீஸ் கொடுத்த உடனே கையோட உன்னோட ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் என்ன ஆயிடும்? ஃப்ரீஸ் ஆயிடும். அந்த திரும்பி கேன்சலேஷன் கிடைக்கிற வரைக்கும் அந்த இன்டர்மீடியன்ட் டேஸ்ல நீ என்னென்ன சேல்ஸ் பண்ணிருக்கியோ அதுக்கு டாக்ஸ் இன்வாய்ஸ் போடக்கூடாது, டாக்ஸ் அமௌண்ட் கலெக்ட் பண்ணக்கூடாது. அந்த கேன்சலேஷனை திரும்பி பெற்றதுக்கு அப்புறம் நீ என்ன பண்ணலாம்? தட் இஸ் யுவர் கேன்சலேஷன் ப்ரொசீடிங்ஸ் இஸ் ட்ராப், யூ ஹவ் ரீடைன் தட் ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பருங்கிறப்ப வாட் யூ கேன் டூ, யூ கேன் கோ ஃபார் நவ் ரேசிங் அன் இன்வாய்ஸ் ஃபார் தோஸ் 20 days, வாட் எவர் சேல்ஸ் யூ ஹவ் டன். You will raise an invoice, you will declare it in the next month return, that subsequent month return, the sales. So we call this as revised tax invoice. Let us not go into too much details. அதுக்கப்புறம் நீ அதை காமிச்சிக்கலாம். ஸோ இதை தான் நான் வந்து சிம்பிளா அவங்க சொல்ல விரும்புறேன். Next, let us see some of the RCM. Third topic or third agenda, what has been kept for me is reverse charge mechanism. இந்த ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ்னா என்ன சார்? ஃபார்வர்ட் சார்ஜ் ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ்னு ரெண்டு இருக்குங்கிறாங்க. அப்படின்னா என்ன சார்? ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ்னா நீ எந்த சினாரியோல ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ் போறாங்க? ஜிஎஸ்டி எப்படி போகும் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, the taxes are first incidence of tax is passed on to the recipient. ரெசிபியன்ட்டுக்கு நான் ஒரு ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர் வச்சிருக்கேன், ஐ எம் செல்லிங் மொபைல் ஃபோன் தான், ஐ வில் சார்ஜ் ஜிஎஸ்டி இந்த இன்வாய்ஸ். உங்ககிட்ட இருந்து அந்த 10,000 rupees sale value collect பண்ணுவேன், GST collect பண்ணுவேன், government மொத்தமா நான் collect பண்ணுவேன். So I charge the GST in my invoice, collect the GST amount from you, from the consumer as well, and pay it to the government. This is referred as what? Forward charge mechanism, where the supplier will levy GST in his invoice, collect, burden of tax is passed on to the recipient in the tax avangi. This is referred as forward charge mechanism. Reverse charge mechanism is the opposite. Adhaadu, where in some scenarios the government is reluctant to collect the tax from supplier of service or supplier of goods. They want these taxes to be collected from the recipient directly. Why? Predominantly because they are from unorganized sector. They are from what? Unorganized sector. For example, transportation sector. Naraya cash la business varum. Proper accounting அங்க இருக்காது, எதுவும் பார்க்க முடியாது. So அவன் எப்படி அவன் கரெக்டா டாக்ஸ் கட்டுவான் நீ நம்ப முடியும். So what the department is saying, in such scenario, wherever you are going to hire the transport for transporting your goods, in that scenario, in some scenarios, in adiliyu sila specific conditions oda enna solran, in the scenario la supplier tax kattavana recipient tax kattna podum, direct recipient government kattikom. Sir, na or vandiya hire panna nee businessman illa kavarapadad. The recipient is a businessman and he hires a vehicle for carrying the movement of goods, transportation of goods. Then in such scenario, what? The recipient is liable to pay the tax under some scenario, subject to some other conditions given in that particular notification. Unnu silla conditions solla. In the recipient ivana irukanum, unregistered or not ivana irukanum, or factory vechirukanum, illa or society ah irukanum. Indha mari sila points solran. I'm a goods transport agent na yaru, goods transport operator na yaru. We'll go into too much details. I don't want to go into. So I'm putting in a very simple term. Recipient will pay the tax directly to government. That scenario is referred as what? Reverse charge mechanism. Forward charge, reverse charge concept clear ah irukla. Forward charge na ongitte the tax avangi, adu ongitte na yaru? We are recipients. When the government is trying to collect, the supplier imposes the tax in his bill and he collects the tax from you and he pays it to the government subsequently. This is referred as forward charge. In some scenarios, supplier will not collect the tax. What will happen? For example, advocate service. Advocate is a service provider. Or family divorce matter ko around 2 lakhs is the advocate fee is charging. Legal services are liable at the GST of 18%. 2,36,000. Advocate, what he'll have to do is, being an unregistered person, he'll not at all bill me. He'll give one invoice for normal invoice proof, which is not a GST invoice. He'll give one commercial invoice to me, which is different from GST invoice. Commercial invoice is different, GST invoice is different. He'll give me one GST invoice. He'll give me one commercial invoice. And the commercial invoice will eppadi irukum? Advocate fee for representation 2 lakhs in the இன்னும் ஒரு படி இப்ப நான் என்ன பண்ணணும், இன்னும் ஒரு படி இறங்கி I have to prepare one invoice here when I procure the services from the supplier who is unregistered. I will prepare one GST invoice by myself, putting the name of that supplier, அவனோட நேம் எழுதுவேன், GST நம்பர் எழுதாம unregistered person எழுதுவேன், அவன் அட்ரஸ் எழுதுவேன், recipient detailsல என் பேரை போடுவேன், போட்டுட்டு நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன், I will generate one invoice by myself. நானே ஒரு invoice generate பண்ணிப்பேன். That invoice is called a self invoice னு பேரு. அந்த self invoice போட்டு நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன், I will pay the tax for the 2 lakhs directly to government. I will pay the tax for the 2 lakhs directly to the government. இது ஒரு scenario. ஒரு scenario எப்படி, unregistered supplier கிட்ட ஒரு சர்வீஸ் வாங்குற, or unregistered person கிட்ட goods வாங்குற, that service is coming under reverse charge. That is, you have to pay the tax as a recipient. You are a registered person. Assume you are a registered person. அப்ப நீ அந்த டாக்ஸ் கட்டணும்ங்கற. அப்ப நீ கட்டணும்னா எப்படி கட்டுவாங்க, கையை விட்டு தான் நீ கட்டணும். Sir, கையூட்டு கட்டினா என்ன benefit, sir? Government is going to give you input tax credit benefit. Government is going to give you what? Input tax credit benefit for the tax that you pay under RCM. இந்த மாதிரி என்னென்ன சர்வீஸ் இருக்கு சார்? With that I will close off. You have, because RCM na என்னன்னு புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்ங்கறத intention. Reverse charge mechanism is nothing but in some scenarios recipient is liable to pay the tax directly to the government. He will not, supplier will not charge and collect that amount from you. He will simply state in the invoice, this is the GST, bracket he will put, as a recipient, you are liable to pay the tax under RCM. You need not pay this amount to me. In the amount என்கிட்ட கொடுக்காத, government will direct cut. He'll put GST in that invoice. GST amount இருக்கும். ஆனா என்ன இருக்கும் bracketல? As a recipient, you are liable to pay the tax under RCM. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது ஏன் இந்த RCM இருக்கு? Majorly to tap the revenue from unorganized sector. This is one of the reason for bringing the transaction under RCM. Yes, friends, some of the services, randomly I'll tell you. Advocate services, which you know. There is something called goods transport agency services. Insurance agent providing services to insurance company. Who will pay the tax? Insurance agent is the service provider. Insurance company is the service recipient. Who will pay the tax? Company will pay the tax under RCM, because being the recipient, the law requires that company to pay the tax under RCM. Insurance agent providing services to insurance company. Insurance company will pay the tax under RCM. Advocate services, arbitration tribunal services. Then you have this security services. Then it is something different, but I'm listing out some of the services randomly. Sponsorship services. What is meant by sponsorship services? Tata providing sponsor to what? BCCI for the IPL event. It is called Tata IPL, right? So Tata is providing. Who is the service provider? BCCI. Service recipient yare? Tata. Tata, what it pays a fee called sponsorship fee. It pays to the BCCI. BCCI in turn, what it does, some advertisement. So advertisement where sponsorship where sponsorship will also have the element of advertisement. Sponsorship will have the element of advertisement with it. So this is a classic case where Tata is paying the sponsorship fee, BCCI providing sponsorship services to Tata. Every 10 over or every 6, whatever you hit, it is called as what? Tata IPL 6, something like that. They'll keep that brand registered in your mind. This is an indirect way of doing an advertising. So these are some of the random scenarios which are covered under RCM. Sponsorship services, I told, legal services, arbitration services. Then you have security services, insurance agent providing services to insurance company, recovery agent providing services to banking company. So in the mari scenarios la enna solran, recipient to pay the tax ingra inda concept da nyabagam vechukonu. It's easy to remember the if you read you will easily understand, but the base point and recipient to pay the tax under RCM, not the supplier in turn to government in nadakadu. So this is all about RCM. I've covered registration, cancellation of registration, threadbare analyzed. RCM I've covered. Only one thing it is left to be covered, which is revocation of cancellation. What is this revocation of cancellation? In some, your registration is cancelled. The department has not accepted your submissions. Now you are agreed, you want desperate to get that registration back. அப்ப நீ என்ன பண்ணலாம்? Portal is giving you an option to file a revocation application, asking the department, அப்பா தெரியாம நான் இந்த தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேன், இப்ப டாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் கட்டிட்டேன், இப்ப இந்த இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் எல்லாம் கட்டிட்டேன், இப்ப இந்த லேட் ஃபீ எல்லாம் கட்டிட்டேன், பாத்துக்கோ, அந்த ப்ரூஃப் எல்லாத்தையும் அட்டாச் பண்றேன், தயவு செய்து என்னோட கேன்சலேஷன் திரும்பி கொடு. Please give me back my cancellation so that I can do my business. By taking away my GST registration, I can't carry out my day-to-day activity. I can't move the goods. I can't move my truck. I can't do anything. I'm sterilized completely. So in that scenario, what the government can do, it can proceed for, it gives an option. Say, cancellation of pin kurta. Now at least you have paid the taxes. I have verified everything is correct. I'm giving you the registration back. This scenario is called as what? The revocation, cancellation of cancelled GST, revocation of the cancelled GST. And this is about section 30, friends. Now the time is 6:05. I've taken 5 minutes of extra time. Pardon me. I hope I have made some value addition to you all. Thank you, friends. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you all. Thank you all.